Hey, what's up, YouTubers, and welcome back to Box Set Collection Overview Part 3. And we're kind of getting down to the nitty-gritty now. So after this video, which is Part 3, I have enough for probably a full Part 4 and then maybe a partial Part 5. And then you'll pretty much have seen everything that I have in my collection. So get yourself relaxed, kick your feet up, and let's check out box set video number 3. So in I believe it was part 2, I showed you this box set already, and I just wanted to kind of do a little rehash of it, and I want to show you another, I guess it's not really a box set, but it's kind of a companion piece to the Tales of Voodoo with these covers that look like they were borrowed from possibly Eerie Publications or EC Comics. So there was also, from the same company, a group. It doesn't really have a box set, but there are 4 volumes of Terror Tales. So these were Tales of Voodoo, and these are Terror Tales. So I will show you these, and it looks like I have them backwards. So this is volume 4, and it says Terror Tales from the Hood. You get Black Voodoo Exorcist and the Devil Hunter. These are also from that same company called Video Asia. So it's from Video Asia, made in Mexico, sold in America. Okay, so that is volume 4, and looks like we're going backwards. So this is volume 3. This is called a double DVD horrorama. Here comes a Vampire and Fear. And it's showing you here on the back that you can also order the 5 volumes of Tales of Voodoo, which you have seen before. And just to kind of show you, it's a flipper disc, and there's nothing else really. It doesn't come with any inserts or booklets or anything. So it's a flipper disc, so on one side you have one movie, obviously. On the other side you have the second movie. Here is volume 2. 2 ghastly films, Dr. Vampire and Death Kiss. It says it was 2 World DVD Premier Terror Classics. I don't know how true that is, but they put it on there. You can actually order in, and I think they're kind of taking this as kind of like a comic book or horror magazine. I don't know if this was actually a thing, but they're calling it a monster fan club that was in, what does that say? Westminster Abbey, New Jersey. Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense. 1313 Mockingbird Lane, which obviously was the Munsters address. So that was just kind of a, you know, they were laughing at themselves because they're clearly borrowing from other publications. If not downright just stealing stuff. I don't know if they ever had permission to take this. Probably not. The Asians, they just do what they want to do. This one is called Ninja Vampire Busters and Vampire Honeymoon. And if you want to pause and read, please feel free to do so. Talks a little bit about the movies, a little synopsis of the movies. So that was the first little grouping, and although it's not a box set per se, it's still a nice little companion piece to the other box set. In a previous collection video, I showed you Irwin Allen's Lost in Space box set collection for the entire run of the show. This was also a program by Irwin Allen called Land of the Giants. And this contains all 51 episodes, and plus a bunch of special features. There's a commentary and outtakes. There's an unaired version of the pilot episode called The Crash. Special effects shots, stills. This program was supposed to take place in the future, 1983. So this was a pretty good show. I really enjoyed this, and I thought this was a really nice addition. It comes in this fat pack here, like I call these. And let me see here if I can swing that tray out without dumping a bunch of stuff. So you have disc 1 and 2, disc 3 and 4, discs 4 and 5. So it must be under here. So 4, 5, and 6 are under here. And so that's season 1. And then season 2, you have all the discs here, complete season 2. So that's all 51 episodes of the show. And I imported this from the UK. And this is all on DVD. And I think I paid about 30 to 40 bucks for this. And this was several years ago, probably 10 years ago now, or longer. But this is a really nice set, and I'm glad to own it. Land of the Giants. Sticking to the theme of sci-fi television programs from the 60s and 70s. This is the Time Tunnel Volume 1 and the Time Tunnel Volume 2. They come in these little thin packs here. So you get, this is also from the creative genius of Irwin Allen. You get the first 15 episodes of this series. You get an unaired extended version of the pilot. You get Irwin Allen's behind the scenes of home movies and a bunch of other stuff. I'm trying to see what year this came out. 1966. And let me backpedal here for a minute. I'm trying to see what year. It looks like 1968 to 1969 for Land of the Giants, and 1966 for the Time Tunnel. And I'll just kind of go through and show you what the set looks like. It comes in these little thin packs, and it's a 4-disc set, and they're flippers. So I really enjoy this set. I picked these up at a Kmart before the Kmarts before they went out of business. There's no more Kmarts around, at least in my area. I think they're all gone now, which is a shame. I really liked Kmart. They didn't have the greatest of electronics at the end of their tenure, I guess, but every once in a while they would pull out a bin and have a bunch of movies in it for pretty, reasonable prices. And I found these in a bin, so I think they were only like maybe $5 a piece at the time. And then here's volume 2, and this was from 1966 to 67. So immediately following the Time Tunnel, the Land of the Giants came out. So that is my little Irwin Allen box sets. Here's another Suspense television series from the late 50s into the early 60s. This was a show called One Step Beyond, and this is a 8 DVD set hosted by John Newland. Before the Twilight Zone, there was One Step Beyond. There's over 13 hours of episodes, of the strange, unexpected, and mysterious. So it's basically in the same vein as like your Twilight Zones and stuff like that. It has 33 chilling episodes. I don't know if that was the entire run. I'll have to do a little research on that. But this is a pretty nice little set. They have it kind of set up like a book. There's a little latch here in the back, a plastic latch. And when you open it up, it has kind of these clear jewel case swing trays. And each disc has its own unique colors and same kind of swirling pattern. And this is a nice little set. One Step Beyond, from 1959 to 1961. So moving right along into some more television suspense, and you can kind of get a feel for Toddy Walnuts and what kind of stuff I like to watch. That's why I kind of like sharing my collection with you guys. I like to hopefully give you guys some ideas of what you can pick up for your collection, and you can kind of get a feel of the things that I like. And of course, if you guys have any suggestions for me, you can always comment those down below. This is the 5 DVD box set of the Ray Bradbury Theater. This was a really good show that was on TV. And this is 65 short stories from the master of sci-fi. And these are the complete series from season 1 through 6. And it had a lot of young actors at the time, and veterans too. You can see there was young Drew Barrymore, but then there was Shatner, Goldblum, O'Toole, and many more. This is a really good show. I recommend it. My dad got me into this when I was a kid, and I'm really glad that my dad got me into a lot of these. He got me into the Twilight Zone, he got me into the old westerns, and he got me into like the mafia movies, and even some of the horror movies. I remember sitting watching some of the horror movies with my dad, and he would laugh, and at the time it would, I was terrified as a kid watching some of these. And now kind of watching them as I'm an adult, I can see the humor in it, especially Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. I remember him just howling. He thought it was so funny. He loved Chop Top, and I was so freaked out about the whole thing, and I couldn't laugh at the time as a kid, but as you get older, obviously it was a dark comedy. But this is a really good show, and I'm glad that I got to watch this with my dad. In part 1 of the box set collection overview, I showed you the original Twilight Zone series, the definitive box set collection. And then at some point in the 80s, they came out with a reimagining, or they tried to revive the series. And this is that series, the complete 80s series, they're calling it. Comes in this fat pack. It obviously wasn't anywhere even close to the original, but it never was going to be, and I don't think they tried to make it be that. It was a very entertaining show in its own right, but it was never going to match the original. So you get a 13-disc set, and it ran from 1985 to 1989. And it had stories from some of the big boys of suspense. You get Ray Bradbury, Stephen King, Arthur C. Clarke, George R.R. Martin, Wes Craven, Friedkin, and many more. Rest in peace to a lot of these gentlemen. Friedkin just passed away about a week or so ago. Craven a couple years ago. Bradbury's gone. Clarke is gone. We still have R.R. Martin and Stephen King. And it looks like there's some promising actors in here. Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, Martin Landau, to name a few. And then it came in this fat pack here. Nice swing trays. I love these. I love it when they put them on swing trays instead of stacking them. Like Mill Creek likes to stack their DVDs. I don't like that at all. And then you get kind of a episode guide here, episode listing. Really, really good show. I enjoy it. Did it say how many episodes there were? It says running time is approximately 37 hours and 50 minutes. This box set was released in 2017, but I'm not seeing exactly how many episodes Maybe it says on the back. It doesn't have them listed by numbers, just by episode. It's probably right in front of my face and I'm not seeing it, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. But it's a set I do recommend. If you can find that, grab it. In 1959, the original Twilight Zone came out. And 10 years later, in 1969, Rod Serling came out with Night Gallery. Again, it wasn't as good as the original Twilight Zone, but these were very good. I mean, it was pretty close to the original, if you ask me anyway. It depends who you ask, but this is my video, so I'm going to give you my opinion. I really enjoyed Night Gallery. It only lasted for 3 seasons, and we have all 3 seasons here. And I have to upgrade this. I don't know if this ever got released on Blu-ray, but I have kind of these digipack style packaging, and then the third one came on a jewel case. I don't think the third one ever did come on a digipack. So hopefully there's a box set out there somewhere. I'm sure maybe by now there's probably a fat pack of this as well. But you can see the episodes came on 3 discs for season 1. There are 20 terrifying stories plus the original pilot movie. If you haven't seen this, if you were unaware, or even if you have seen these, I would recommend revisiting them. And if you haven't seen them, definitely do give them a shot. Check them out. So here's season 2, and it's a 5-disc, contains 61 stories. And these are pretty creepy. And the thing about Rod Serling is he was an excellent writer. He wrote a lot of these, just like he did for the original Twilight Zone. He was one of the best to ever do it. And it was a very similar style format where he would kind of narrate, and then it would go into the story just like Twilight Zone. So that is Night Gallery. 1969 it came out. In 1963, The Outer Limits came out. You can see there's a little bit of dust flying around this one. I dusted this one off a little bit, and there's still some remnants in the air. But this was a competitor, I would say, with the Twilight Zone. In my opinion, it wasn't as good as the Twilight Zone, but it was a very solid show. It had good writing, good acting. It was on par, just to me, in my opinion, not as good as the original Twilight Zone. This is the Blu-ray box set that was put out by Kino Lorber a few years ago. And these look really good on Blu-ray. I'm sure many of you have this already. And then there was also a season 2, which I strongly recommend these. If you like the Twilight Zone and shows like that, you'll definitely like this one too. And then in the I believe it was mid to late 90s, they kind of rebooted The Outer Limits. They tried to bring it back. I think there was a couple of different renditions of The Outer Limits. I believe there's one out right now, actually. I kind of lost track of that. But this is the box set for that revival series. So you can see that there's a couple different categories: Aliens Among Us, Death and Beyond, Fantastic Androids and Robots, Mutation and Transformation, Sex and Science Fiction, Time Travel and Infinity. And you can see that it has some of the episode listings. And I just pulled one out so we can kind of take a look at it in more detail. So I think I was right, because it looks like it was from 1995 till 2001. I don't really remember a lot about this series. It's on a flipper disc again, and there's a little insert with the episode listing. So I just wanted to throw this in with the collection video to show you guys that it is available in case you're interested. And this is what they look like. Staying on that same theme of mystery, suspense, thriller, in the same vein as like Unsolved Mysteries or Twilight Zone, was a show called Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. This is season 1, and as far as I know, this was the only season that was released on DVD. Now, it has been a few years or several years since I checked this. They may have all been released on DVD by now, but for a little bit, this was very hard to find, and it was pretty pricey. It was very rare. It may not be anymore, like I said. It's been a long time since I even looked this up. Season 1 came out in 1997. It was hosted by James Brolin. And then starting in 1998 and on, it was hosted by Jonathan Frakes. And it lasted several seasons. And it was a really good show. I'm sure many of you guys remember this. So what they would do is they would show you, I think each episode had 3 clips or 3 different short stories in it. And you would have to decide which you thought was true or which was false. And then they would go through and show you the 3 clips. And at the end, Jonathan Frakes, or in this case, James Brolin, was the host. And then he would kind of talk a little bit about the episodes. And then he would kind of, give you some details that you might have forgotten. And he would try to guess what you thought was true and what was false. Sometimes the most ridiculous ones were the true ones. And it was a fun watch. So I wanted to add this in the box set collection. So season 1, let me see. It had 274 minutes running time, but I'm trying to see here if it has an episode count. But it looks here on the back that it ran from 1997 till 2002. So hopefully I'll have to take a look and see if they released any more of these, and if they did, I'll definitely grab them. Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. The next one here is the complete series of Friday the 13th, the series, which has nothing to do with Friday the 13th, the movie. There's no Jason Voorhees. There's no Camp Crystal Lake or anything like that. What this is an anthology, very similar to Tales from the Crypt or Tales from the Darkside or shows like that. It came out in the mid 80s, I believe. And this has all 3 seasons. Comes with this nice slipcover. It's a 17-disc set from 1987 to 1990. And then here's the Fat Pack. They're really trying hard to show a hockey mask there, but that would be misleading, right? I mean, they already have the title, and it looks exactly like the Friday the 13th movie title. I remember watching this as a kid when it came out, and I was a little disappointed because, of course, there was no Jason. But it was still a pretty fun watch. It's a pretty big Fat Pack. It's got 17 discs in it. It has the episode listing. Nice little swing trays, really nice stuff. Really good quality. The next box set here is Tales from the Darkside, the complete series. You get all 4 seasons. Every horrifying episode comes with another nice slipcover. And on the back, it says The Darkside Awaits. You get 12 discs in this box set. The show ran from 1983 to 1988. And approximate running time is 32 hours, 37 minutes. And it does have subtitles. It's 4:3 full frame. And this was a fun little kind of a horror anthology. Another Fat Pack with the swing trays. These are really nice. Nice design. Same format too, with the episodes on the inside. A couple of swing trays here. trying to see how many episodes were in here. 90 episodes on 12 discs. This might possibly have the best intro for any TV show ever in the history of television. If you've never seen, or if you don't remember the intro for Tales from the Darkside, I'll leave a link down below, and I encourage you to check it out. It's really, really good. And the show's pretty good too, so I would recommend checking that out as well. The next set here is a title everybody's familiar with, and this show kind of took the horror anthology TV show to the next level, I think. Since this was shown on HBO, they were able to have cussing and nudity and violence, and they did it all very well. This is Tales from the Crypt. It ran from 1989 to 1993, I believe, and it spawned a couple movies. And everybody knows the Crypt Keeper and his ghoulish laugh and the set pieces where he was narrating the shows. It was all very well done, and this is a great show. So I have the complete series here. This is season 1. I'll just show the covers really quick. Some special features. Here's the second season. Tales from the Crypt. I can't do it, but I mean it's a great show. Hours and hours and hours of fun. I'm sure many of you, if not most of you, have this series. Another show that spawned from some of the old horror comics, some of the old EC comics, I believe. Here's the 4th season. So this show had a good blend of horror and mystery and humor. They always had humor in here, and then there was some pretty horrifying scenes, good makeup and special effects, good writing. This is the 5th. And the show is always centered around the Crypt Keeper. He narrated in between these tales. This was back when TV was fun. And there was a lot of stars who wanted to be associated with this, so there was a lot of guest stars who were in episodes of Tales from the Crypt. This is the final 7th season. And this one has a special feature, Fatal Caper virtual comic book. There's James Bond, Daniel Craig, and there were very many young stars. A lot of people wanted to be associated with it. So that was Tales from the Crypt. The next one here is called Thriller, that was hosted by the great Boris Karloff. I believe this show ran from 1961 to 63, 1961 to 62, something like that. It was the early 60s. And this was near the end of Karloff's career, and then he passed away in 1969. But this is the 14 DVD deluxe box set of the entire run of the show. So you have the slim packs here, and if you look, it has season 1 and 2 combined. So this was the whole run. And I just had a text pop up on the screen. So you get, 37 episodes in season 1 and 20 episodes in season 2. So this was another anthology, horror anthology. This is one of the best horror series ever put on TV by Stephen King. There's 27 audio commentaries in here. To me, that's ridiculous. That's awesome. I mean, you can see some of the great actors who were in the show. I'm not going to name them off because you can see them, but a lot of people wanted to be involved in this as well. And this was a really nice, good show. I'll show you a couple of the covers here. It's pretty much all the same, just different colors of the same image. But I'll pop it open and you can see how the discs are housed. And again, it has the episodes in the back. I like how they do that with the clear case and you can see the episodes in the back. I think that's a really good format. I'm a big fan of that. And that is the entire run of Thriller. So I'm not exactly sure what I am up to right now for running time for the video because I keep cutting these in short clips. But if I have enough time, I will keep rolling here. I'm going to take a look and see what I'm up to. Another show that I was very fond of growing up, watching these in syndication, is the Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And the master of suspense was excellent at spinning a yarn and keeping your attention. For some of these shows were an hour, and I think eventually it went down to a half hour. But I have the first 5 seasons here, and these shows have a really high rewatchability factor. I can watch these over and over and over. One of the best to ever do it. So this is the complete season 1. So you get 39 episodes in season 1. Season 2, you also get 39 episodes. Horror, mystery, and intrigue on 5 discs. Strongly recommend all of these. Here's season 3, 39 episodes. Now this show started to win awards, and again, you got guys here that wanted to be part of this. So you got William Shatner, Jessica Tandy, Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, Joseph Cotton, Fay Wray. Some big time heavyweight Hollywood legends wanted to be part of Alfred Hitchcock's show. Won the Primetime Emmy Award. So here's season 4. This one has 36 episodes. And just to kind of give you an idea, this episode this box set is 15 hours and 30 minutes. I mean, you have hours upon hours of entertainment. And then here's season 5. This one had 38 episodes. 16 hours, 23 minutes. They didn't call him the master of suspense for nothing. I mean, this guy was a genius. And as long as we're talking about Alfred Hitchcock, I showed you a different box set in one of the previous videos. This was called the Alfred Hitchcock Masterpiece Collection on Blu-ray. And in this set, you get, let's see if we can zoom that in. We get Saboteur, Shadow of a Doubt, Rope, The Trouble with Harry, Marnie, Frenzy, Family Plot, Rear Window, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Vertigo, The Birds, Torn Curtain, Topaz, and Psycho. I believe these are all the same movies that are on the other deluxe box set. This one came out first. This is the UK edition. And it's really nice packaging. They put it in kind of this digibook style. And it shows you some of the original artwork, posters. And then the discs are housed in the kind of this cardboard sleeve. It tells you a little bit about the features for each movie. I really like this set a lot. I'll be curious to hear what your favorite Alfred Hitchcock movie is, if you want to comment down below. Beautiful box set. So moving right along, now we're getting into a company called Shameless Entertainment, and this is a company from the UK, a company I really enjoyed. I wish they would have kept making movies. I thought they were doing really good things. This is Enzo G. Castellari's The Bronx Warriors trilogy in this tin collector's case here, from the director of the original The Inglourious Bastards. This is a really nice little tin. It was limited, but I don't remember what it was limited to. But you do get all 3 of the films from the Bronx Warriors trilogy, and I pulled them out to show you. So the first one is The Bronx Warriors. If you guys like your kind of post-apocalyptic action, a lot of violence, a lot of action, a lot of shoot 'em ups, this is a really good movie for you. The Bronx Warriors. It says the first to die were the lucky ones. There you can see Enzo, Uncle Enzo right there in the middle. And this movie came out in 1990, starring Fred the Hammer Williamson. And then following that was Escape from the Bronx. And this movie came out, you know what, I think I have this wrong. So yeah, the first one came out in 1982. So the movie originally was called 1990, The Bronx Warriors. That's why I got confused. But the first one came out in 1982. And then this one came out in 1983. This one has Henry Silva in it. And the third one was called The New Barbarians, and you can see Fred the Hammer's back. And this one came out in 1983 as well. This one also has George Eastman in it. Very great actor. I really enjoy Luigi Montefiore, aka George Eastman. Great Italian actor. And just to kind of do a little recap here, side by side. It's a really cool set. I'm sure you can find this available like on a secondary market somewhere. I recommend these movies. We're going from a UK company called Shameless Entertainment to an American company called No Shame Films, which only had a very short life, and they're now defunct. They haven't been around for quite some time, but when they were around, they had some really nice releases like this one. This is the 2 DVD limited collector's edition of the Emilio Miraglia Killer Queen box set. And it also comes with a figure, which we will open up and I'll show you the insides of this. This comes with the night Evelyn came out of the grave and the Red Queen kills 7 times. This is the DVD box set. It was limited to 7,000 pieces, and this is number 3583. This was a really nice company. I really enjoyed their stuff, but that they were so limited that it it became very expensive to try to get this stuff. And there's the No Shame logo. I've owned this for many, many, many years. So I'm going to pause it here and open it up, and we'll take a look at the Red Queen, and we'll look at the DVD. So here's a look at the old gal, the Red Queen. It's really nice. Let's get an even better look. Take her out of this plastic prison. So I'm trying to figure out if I should just lay her down or... So it's a plastic, kind of a rubbery plastic figure. And if you've seen the movies, then you know who this character is. You recognize her from the movies. This is a really nice little piece that they added to the set, and I really love this. I mean, it's a really nice little touch to have this collectible for this DVD set. We'll put her back. What does it say on the bottom? It says Red Queen Action Figure 2006 No Shame Films LLC, all rights reserved. And here is the DVD. It's a 2 DVD set. These are fun movies too. I'm sure most of you have seen these by now. They do have Blu-ray releases. So the first DVD is The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave. And then there's a swing tray to reveal the Red Queen Kills 7 times. And there's some background artwork. There's the Red Queen there. Great movies. Very fun. And some more artwork on the inside there. And you can see, I believe both of these movies came out in the early 70s. Let me take a look here on the back and see if it says. So The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave, 1971, and The Red Queen Kills 7 Times, 1972. These Italian slashers are the greatest. They're really, really good. And it comes with a pretty thick booklet. And No Shame really put a lot of effort into their releases, a lot of quality. And they were doing this before anybody else, really, other than Anchor Bay. Anchor Bay was doing this too around the same time. Anchor Bay was probably the first company that started to add collectibles such as tin cases and posters and booklets and stuff like that, and bonus features. Now, just about every company does it, and we're pretty spoiled as collectors that we have companies like Arrow and Scream Factory and Vinegar Syndrome and Severin Films. We should really be thankful for these companies. And that's the booklet, and it also came with a couple of art cards. So there is the lobby card for The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave. What a cover. It says The Worms Are Waiting. And the Red Queen Kills 7 Times. Watching these movies takes you back in like a time machine. I know we say that, you know, we look at these old vintage horror magazines and we watch these old movies, but it's fun to just kind of transport back to this time and, you know, kind of lose yourself in these movies. It's really, really good stuff. All right, so that is the Emilio Miraglia Killer Queen box set with the Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave and the Red Queen Kills 7 times. Okay, so I think that's gonna do it for this video. I do have a pile of stuff here, but I'll save that for the next video or so. Heidi wanted to come back in here and say goodbye, and Hannah's waiting for the next video already. I hope you guys are well. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. I have fun making these because it's kind of fun to revisit some of these movies and shows and stuff that I haven't seen in a long time. And it also gives me a good excuse to clean because a lot of this stuff is dusty. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you next time. Later.